Catullus by Caroline Pelham. Who is Catullus? Catullus was one of the Neotric or New Poets. Neotric poets use colloquial language to write about their personal experiences. Their poems are mostly smaller lyrics that are characterized by wit. Catullus was born in 84 BCE in Verona, Italy. Catullus was from a wealthy and well-connected family and belonged to the equestrian class. Catullus's family owned a villa in Sirmio and entertained many high-profile guests like Julius Caesar. Catullus's familiarity with Greek literature and culture suggests that he received the traditional education of a wealthy Roman. Catullus, like many young equestrians, served on the staff of a providential governor. In this poet's case, his duty was with the propraetor C. Mimnius in Bithynia. In 57 BCE, Catullus would later record he did not enjoy his service. There were little opportunities for him to enrich himself. Did Catullus have a patron? Catullus did not write for money. During his time, the commercial book trade barely existed, and any books that were sold brought no financial profit to their authors. However, Catullus had a writer's desire for another kind of profit: literary immortality. Literary works. The knowledge of Catullus's poems comes from a single manuscript that survived the Dark Ages. This manuscript was discovered in Verona in around 1305 and disappeared again at the end of the century. 2 copies of it, however, were made, and one survives. The other copy was believed to be owned by Petrarch and was also lost. The subject matter of Catullus's poems differs quite a bit from early Roman poetry, which was largely philosophical and educational in nature, professing patriotism and the virtue of the Roman people and leaders. Catullus dealt with more tawdry affairs, such as scandalous love affairs, arrogance, and his own hedonistic endeavors. The content of his poetry embodies the eccentricity of his life. Catullus's poems have been preserved in an anthology of 116 karma, divided into 3 formal parts: 60 short poems in varying meters called polymetra, and 8 long poems, and 48 epigrams. The polymetria and the epigrams can be organized into 4 major thematic groups. Occasional poems. Occasional poems are written primarily for friends and social acquaintances. The love poems. He writes love poems for a variety of love interests. The invectives. Those poems were often rude and obscene and targeted at people Catullus saw as a traitor. Condolences. These poems were gravely serious in nature. A famous example were the poems that chronicled the death of Catullus's brother. Were Catullus's works praised? Catullus's poems were widely appreciated by other poets, but Cicero despised them for their supposed immorality. He greatly influenced poets such as Ovid, Horace, and Virgil. After his rediscovery in the late Middle Ages, Catullus again found admirers. His explicit writing style has shocked many readers, both ancient and modern. Here is an example of one of Catullus's poems. Catullus 85. English translation. I hate and I love. Wherefore would I do this? Perhaps you ask. I do not know, but I feel that it happens and I am tortured. Did you know? Due to Catullus's explicit writing style, he was labeled an immoral poet by a number of critics. He was barred from the Latin canon of poets and was almost never taught in schools following his death. Some of Catullus's poetry showcases an intense and unhappy love affair with a woman who was married and whom he names Lesbia. Some believe Lesbia is a pseudonym for Claudia, a sophisticated woman from a Petrarchan household who had an affair with Catullus.